it's going. Okay, so I'm Nancy Harkness. This is Writer Unedited number 53. Just me sitting at my writing desk chatting about whatever is going on in my writing life, sometimes in things other than my writing life. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. Also, if you're here, please just say hi. And I will try to answer the questions. And if you miss a live, I always post them on my YouTube channel so you can catch it later. And I will put the link to my YouTube channel in the comments below this when I'm done. Oh, Sally, I like your little doggy's bumpy fist graphic. Cute, because we're buddies. Fist bumping buddies, right? So I just want to remind everybody that Royal Kaleva Luis is in Kindle Unlimited now. Just happened last week, so it's kind of new. And I gotta say, people are reading him like crazy, so that makes me happy. So last night, I decided I need to get out of the house more. No, just joking. I actually saw that the Montclair Public Library, which is my local library, was hosting a panel of mystery writers. And I noticed that the moderator of the mystery writers was Laurie Robbins, who was a neighbor of mine in my old hometown where I brought up my kids. And in fact, her son and my son were in the same class, played on the same soccer team. So, I knew Laurie really well. And then, the kids left home and the soccer game stopped and we kind of drifted apart. But I did know that she was writing mysteries now, and I was particularly interested. In fact, this is her first book, which I read, because they're set in the ballet world. So that was what drew me into the panel. But it was actually really terrific. There were 5 mystery writers. Laurie Robbins, Libby Cudmore, Suzanne Trouth, Valerie Wilson Wesley, and Linda Rollins. And some of them I'm already friends with was already friends with on Facebook, which is kind of cool. So we kind of recognized each other, which is the joy of social media, right? So it's really nice to hang out with other writers because, they have the same issues that I do. And I actually enjoyed hanging out with writers from another genre because I thought, well, maybe they address some of the challenges that I face a little differently. And because I'm now including suspense in my romances, I figured mystery writers might have something to teach me about that. Sally says, I was wondering why you were at a mystery panel. Is there mystery in your future, oh pantser? No, but I have suspense in my books. So, it would be nice to know how to structure the plot maybe more efficiently than I do, because yes, I am a pantser, which means I do not outline. I write by the seat of my pants, starting with chapter 1 and just going once I have my characters. So interestingly enough, they have all the same problems I do. They didn't actually have any magic tricks. I was hoping for magic, of course, but writing is just work, as writers know, and they work just as hard at it as I do. So a couple of things I talked about, though, was they talked about how they deal with writer's block, which, of course, is always an issue for any writer in any genre. And it's always useful to me to hear people talk about what they do to overcome it. Sometimes it's things I already know, but I've forgotten, and it reminds me to do them. And sometimes it's something new. So they said, so a couple of them use music to break the block. They have music that sort of brings them into the book, and they'll use that. Some of them walk, which is a big favorite of mine. For some reason, being in physical motion seems to help my brain go into brain motion, inspiration motion, maybe creative motion. So it reminded me walking is always a good thing. And another one says she goes back to sort of the original inspiration. Her books include plays, and she said she'll go back to the play that sort of inspired the book, which I thought was really intriguing. So going back to the original inspiration is always a good idea, right? So, and then they're the ones who switch gears in some way. Now, these are people who can write more than one book at a time, which I cannot. I just can't do that. But then I thought, well, I do have this novella for Ben, sort of hanging fire. I could always go fool around with that if I got stuck. But then I feel guilty because I feel like I should be working on the novel that I'm working on right now. I'm a very sort of single focused person, I guess. So it's hard for me to jump around. But I can see how that would be really useful. So then they talked about how they write the mystery plot, which was one of the reasons that I was interested, particularly. Of course, they all said that they start with character. They do not start with plot. It all starts with character. Now, the interesting thing is they were all women. I don't know if that makes a difference to the heavy character-driven element of their books. But they said, actually, there were a surprising number of pantsers on that panel, people who do not outline. I assume that they're just it's so instinctive for them about how to write a mystery, because I probably read, hundreds of them, that they don't need the outline. But there were a few what they call plantsers, which are people who have a vague outline, which maybe is a little bit, no, I can't claim to have an outline. But they have the characters, of course. They have the beginning, the sort of inciting incident, I guess, the murder maybe. They know who the bad guy is going to be, and they know sort of how it's going to end, how it's going to be revealed. So that's what they call themselves, plantsers. So that's a cross between a plotter and a pantser. And the one thing that I found interesting, and I've heard this from other mystery writers, is that sometimes the villain changes as they write the book. And I've heard other people say that they set up like 2 or 3 possible murderers or whatever crime they've committed, usually murder. And then they sort of, as they write, they decide which one is ultimately going to be the bad guy. And of course, they talked about red herrings, which are the misleading clues. And, then the real clues, the clues that do take you to the murderer. And I guess if you switch your murderer halfway through, you have to sort of revise the clues a little bit, I'm assuming. But I was fascinated by the fact that they don't outline in detail when they're writing a murder plot, which to me seems hard. It's a puzzle, right? I mean, if somebody even said it's like a puzzle, you have to make sure all the pieces fit together. So I would think you'd be outlining that, but evidently not. And I think it's just because they really know what they're doing and they don't need to outline, unlike me, who still doesn't really know what I'm doing when it comes to suspense, honestly. So let's say comments here. Sally says, write more than one book at a time. Mind blown. Though I do know other folks who say they do that. I know, right? I just don't get it. But I think they find that switching gears helps them with the creativity. I don't know. Okay, so I have 4 viewers. I hope that if you're here, you'll just say hi in the comments, because I love to know who I'm talking to. So just say hi. Sally says, not being an outliner, wouldn't you feel like you'd written the book when you finished the outline? So why write the book? And that's exactly what happened to me, Sally. I decided many years ago that it was so inefficient to write the way I do, just pantsing it, that I was going to outline a whole book and then write it. So I did. I sat down and I outlined the whole book. I wrote 3 chapters and then quit because, as you say, what was the point of writing it? I already knew what was going to happen. And to this, I don't remember the book at all now. I don't even know what I did with the outline, frankly, or the 3 chapters. I don't remember what it was about. I don't literally a blank. Because, in my mind, it was done. I was through with it because I had figured it all out. So, yeah. But pantsing is not an efficient way to write a book, as Sally knows, too. You go down a lot of, tangents or dead ends, I guess. You go down a lot of dead ends that you have to then write yourself back out of, which is not so easy. So let's see, what else did the mystery writers say? They said setting or sort of milieu was extremely important to them. So we had Laurie, who's a dancer, as I said. What did I do with Laurie's book? So she's a dancer, and you notice that this mystery is clearly set in the ballet world, Murder on Point. Murder in First Position. She has another one called Murder on Point. And of course, I loved it because I love ballet. But she also writes, she has a new series that is set in it. So she's an English professor, teacher, and it's set in the academic world. So she really sets it in very specific locations. Then there's the doctor. Wait, let me find her book. Linda Rollins. So this looks like a sweet, cozy mystery. I mean, they are cozy mysteries, actually. She said that. I haven't read her books yet. But this one is set at the Jersey Shore because she loves the Jersey Shore. That's her happy place. So, of course, she murders people in it. Writers are very weird people, right? But Linda is a doctor. So the one of her sleuths is a trauma surgeon. So there are a lot of medical details in her books, even though this looks very lovely, lovely house, actually. I'd like to live there. So, you know, really important, the setting and the medical issues are important in her books. So she says, she promised they're not gross, even though she said you do see an autopsy, but she said it's not gross. I find that hard to believe. Diana, hi, so good to see you. Glad you're here. Thank you for saying hi. And then let's see. So Suzanne, let's see if I'm getting the right people here. Yeah. So Suzanne Trouth is a playwright and also has done a lot of directing in theaters. So she's very in the theater world. And her mysteries are set in a community theater in a fictional town. But she's the one who, as I said, she says there's always a play in it. I think this one was Dracula. It seems very appropriate for this time of year. So, you know, she's the one who said when she gets blocked, she goes back and looks at the play again, which I thought was very cool. And then Libby Cudmore is all the cards are falling out of her book here. Libby Cudmore is very into music. And so her books are very infused with music, and she said she really uses music to set the tone, you know, the mood, the atmosphere of the book, which I thought was very, very cool. So I'm actually going to be giving away these books. I got them all autographed. I bought them. Well, I tried to buy all of them. A couple of authors were so excited that I was going to be giving them away to you that they said, oh, here, you know, take it. I'll consider it marketing, which I thought was awfully nice of them. So I will be giving these away next week, not this week, because I'm actually going to be, I got stuff I got to do this week that's going to get in the way. But so I showed you most of them. So this is another of Suzanne's books. This is actually women's fiction, not a mystery, because, you know, they write a lot of different kinds of books in some cases. So this is her women's fiction, which I think she said is, yeah, it's got some World War II in it. So at the reading of her beloved father's will, Kate, a divorced French professor, learns of his affaire de coeur during World War II with a French artist named Émilie, to whom he has left a substantial bequest. So that sounds interesting, right? And then finally, the one I don't think I've shown you yet is Valerie Wilson Wesley, who also writes like children's books, and she does all kinds of magazine articles. She's like incredible. Tons of writing. So this is her Odessa Jones book, which I love the name, Odessa Jones. She's the sleuth in her series, in this series anyway. So that's pretty cool. Oh, losing bookmarks everywhere here. So Sally says, I had an idea for a murder mystery once. I was going to title it Murder in the Aquatic Center. How very appropriate. Sally is a really, really good swimmer. And does it all the time. So obviously Murder in the Aquatic Center would be something, that's your milieu, Sally, and I want to read it. I assume you drown the person. That would seem appropriate, although maybe there's a twist and you don't drown them. You strangle them with, you know, those ropes with the floats on them that you keep the lanes separate. You could like wrap that around someone's neck and murder them that way. I don't know. Yeah. Writers have just twisted imaginations. What can I say? So Sally, I want to know what the murder weapon was going to be. Sally says, well, not really good swimmer. Beat them with a kickboard. The murder weapon's going to be a kickboard? that seems like a hard way to kill someone somehow. I feel like drowning would be easier, maybe. I don't know. I still think you should use the lane divider thing. Strangulation by lane divider. But kickboard. Well, Sally, let me put it this way. You're a much better swimmer than I am. Not that that's saying a whole lot, but yeah. So, all right, well, so I talked about everybody else's books, so I guess I should give you an update on Raoul's book, because I promised Gail that I would do that, because she said she was going to miss the live, but she would watch it on the reruns. Oh, wait, I have to read some more comments here. Sally says the lane dividers are now hard. Oh, really? They don't, I remember when they were nylon ropes with just floats sort of interspersed along them. They're not like that anymore? Wow. Things have gotten high tech in the swimming world. Shows how long it's been since I swam in a divided pool. Diana says, killed by a unicorn float. I love it. Oh, what if you put like a poisonous gas in the unicorn float and like pulled the plug out and aimed it at the person you wanted to murder? That would be kind of cool. I like that, Diana. Also, of course, the juxtaposition of unicorns and death is cool. Although I suppose in medieval times, unicorns and death kind of went together in a weird way, but yeah, not so much now. Sally says, do the mystery writers write under different names? Well, yeah, I think like Valerie, where was hers? Valerie Wilson Wesley, when she does like children's books, she definitely uses a different pen name. And then she has another series that she also used a different pen name, but I can't remember them all now because there were a lot. Oh, here we go. Nope. Yes. Oh, she's also written paranormal romances under the name Savannah Wells. And she was a former executive editor of Essence magazine. I told you she'd done a lot of stuff. And she mentioned that she's now working on a book that's not a mystery, I don't think, set in the Jazz Age, which sounds very fun. She said, you know, Sally, you'll be sympathetic with this. She said the research when you're doing historical is really a lot. Sally writes Regency romances, for those who don't know. So I think she said it's her first historical, so she's just learning the research part. Diana, you like that a lot? What, my poisonous gas idea? Yeah, I like your unicorn idea because, as I said, I love the juxtaposition. Sally says, I've seen giant unicorn floats, and when the kids would have swim parties, I was always worried some kid would get caught underneath. Whoa, those must have been really giant unicorn floats, if they were that big. Okay, so on to my update on Raoul's book, because I promised Gail this. I wrote this scene that I talked about last week with all the young royals together bantering, and it was so much fun, and I had such a great time. You know, Quinn was there too. I count her as one of the young royals now, even though she and Gabrielle are not quite married in this book, but very close. So I got done with that scene, and everybody leaves except Raoul and Erica, and then I got stuck. Oh, Diana has to run. Bye, Diana. Thanks for stopping by. Catch the rerun. So I got stuck again. What did I say? So they're alone, and I did all the necessary information sharing for the suspense plot, which is what, you know, triggers this scene, basically. That's why Erica goes to see the prince in the palace and runs into all the royals. And so I got through all that dialogue, but I need the emotional part now, you know, as they are starting to talk about so they were on a camping trip together, right? And I can't tell you what happens, but they come back from the camping trip and they're in the palace, and, you know, they made a certain connection on the camping trip, not physical, not yet. Still early in the book, unfortunately, still early in the book. But they did connect on sort of an intimacy level. And I don't know where I'm going with it. And I realized part of the reason is that I don't know what brings Raoul joy. What brought him joy before Gabrielle's terrible ordeal, the terrible kidnapping that Raoul carries so much guilt for. And I don't know. I don't know what will make him happy again. So I've been, going around in circles on that, basically. So if anybody has any ideas for what might make Prince Raoul happy, what is he looking for in life? What brings him joy? And I've been, as I said, I have some sort of a nebulous idea that I've been fooling around with that I kind of weirdly started before I even started this book. But I don't know. I'm still working on it. So if anyone has an idea, let me know. I'd be grateful. Even if you think it's a crazy idea, it might just sort of set off a chain reaction in my brain that would be helpful, and it might morph into something that is less crazy, So don't hold back. So what did Sally say? Also watch the Olympics. They now have modern wave minimizing discs on the lines. Oh yeah, I have seen those round things. And I've really whacked myself. Ouch. Ow, Sally. That doesn't sound like fun. I didn't realize they were wave minimizing. I thought they were just meant to keep the swimmers apart. Sally says, is there something about the heroine that connects to the joy? Well, I think so. I mean, I structured the heroine, in a way that I think she's the right person for him because she doesn't need taking care of. He's so busy sort of being the caretaker for the nation in a way, as the prince, and she's very strong and independent, almost annoyingly so at times, I think, which is good. I mean for that to be the case. But, it can't all be her. She has to lead him back to his joy, right? Right? That's what we need. So Sally says, hang gliding? What was hang gliding? That's joy? Huh, not for me. Terror, more like it. Sally says, swimming can be a contact sport. Yeah, I hear you. Is there something about her family since part of his issue is his mom? Yes. Actually, it's even about their dads, too. So, absolutely. But I'm not sure that's the joy. That's the understanding and the connection. But Raoul needs joy. He has no joy in his life right now. And I just don't know what will make him, other than falling in love, which obviously brings you joy, but there has to be, that extra layer, right? You know how it is. You write romance, Sally, so you understand that there has to be more than just, oh, I'm in love, yay. But thank you for trying. Thank you for reminding me of where to look. And if you have any more ideas, feel free to email me. Okay, I'm going to close. I will be back here next Wednesday, barring unforeseen disasters. As usual, I have no idea what I will be talking about. Wait, there's more. Sally says, does the rock climbing bring him joy? Yes, yes, it does. And certainly that's something, but it's kind of not deep enough for me. I don't know. I'm still working on it. The rock climbing is definitely part of it. I think what he finds in the rock climbing is a way to take his mind off of everything else that's going on in his life, right? The difficult things. The rock climbing requires such focus that he can't think about anything else. So yes, that is definitely part of the equation. Definitely. Sally says something about taking risks. Yeah, definitely. I agree. But he also is hyper responsible, and he kind of has to be. I mean, he's the heir to the throne. He can't really do anything too stupid, because then he's not, then he's shirking his responsibilities, basically. So it's hard, as you can see. Yes, the dichotomy, exactly. The dichotomy is tough. How do you integrate it? And maybe that's the point. Now you've got me thinking. Maybe it's the integration that's the point. That you have to find a way to do that. And maybe that's what he needs to work on. Okay, well, now my brain is really tired, which is a good thing. But Thank you, everyone who came by. Thank you, Sally, for all the wonderful questions, and Diana for the floating unicorn idea. I love that. And Sally, I'm looking forward to Murder at the Aquatic Center someday. So get cracking on that. Maybe instead of writing, while you're thinking about this new Regency romance, you could write the murder one just for fun. That whole, let's do two projects at the same time that we both think, ugh. But yeah, laughing hysterically. I agree. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you all next week. Bye.